Here's a weird one. One of the most difficult things about troubleshooting. So 100% problem was, previous tech saw it, I saw it until I did the test. Switch would transfer, it's a linear actuator there, it would transfer from normal on the power failure to neutral, but it would stop in neutral and not go to emergency. I could continue the no errors, so now I got to troubleshoot based off the schematic. Let's keep this going. So it just gets stuck in neutral. So now, no errors. So now I transfer, I help it to emergency. It just got stuck in neutral on the way there. And when I return, normal power, goes right back. So it's on the way to neutral, the problem, right? So basically the way this works, it's a linear actuator, red and black. Black goes through the breaker. There's a breaker there. It's 208 volt linear actuator. The capacitor, forget about the capacitor, even in the circuit they don't show it. The red wire gets energized from two different switches. So K2 energizes it. And normally K2 comes up over here, goes through S5, gets to red, and completes the power. I know I don't need to troubleshoot the black because I can transfer to neutral, right? So I had to have this circuit in play. Really, this is what changes. This side, it's a program transition. So what happens is the program transition relay K3 now closes, and now we're going to go the rest of the way through limit switch S8. I'm doing this because I'm going to be doing a little class, and I'm trying to remember some real-world problems here. So, so in order for that to go the rest of the way, K3 now finishes, closes that, puts power on this limit, and then once it gets to a position, it breaks, right? So I was testing here. So because these are push-on connectors, and sometimes you look like this output here, the wire's labeled S5C because it just piggybacks onto S5C. So I went on the P112 side, and I was going to test that first just to see if we were getting K3 closure. And because these are insulated push-on connectors, I slid this one back. That's P112. You'll just have to trust me on that. Right here, P112. I slid it back to get my my lead in there. I was holding it. I did the transfer. I hit it click. Now I know it clicks because it clicks to neutral. I saw the power come then go. I'm like, oh, something's wrong. But what happened? It worked. So the problem is now it's going right through. I saw power there, and it continued it all the way through. So now the thing is, was it me moving that little connector just to get the test point? Really, I guess the best thing to do would be to replace that. So these are the things like, I get here, really these switches are kind of bulletproof, so you really don't do much troubleshooting. So it's nice to be able to get into the schematic and, if you don't see a lot of problems on a switch, you tend not to know how it works. So these are the opportunities where you try to learn and figure out how it works. You see these all day, and if they don't break, you really don't get much interaction with them. So kind of glad it's a simple circuit. Basically, K2 closes, brings it to neutral. And this little operator switch is here. That's what breaks the black. It gets to neutral, breaks the S5 limit, because it's red and black on that linear actuator that needs power. Then it's waiting for K3 to close. K3 is going to go through limit switch S8. S8 will bring it the rest of the way. We were getting stuck. K3 was probably closing. It was probably that limit, because that's me interacting with that one limit connection is what got this thing to work. I'm going to recommend replacing the limit switch stack. and monitoring it, and then I'll do a couple more tests, and then we'll go from there. And I'll fill you in on anything else I find. All right, it stopped. Didn't work again, so I don't think we're getting power. So I'm going to test again. And I want to see if we get power goes there, then goes right away. K3 is dropping out. Huh. If I'm testing this, K2, K3 is not closing. K3 is dropping out. That's a no good. What do you find K3 now? So, the problem is a bad limit switch. So you see we're not touching there. I've depressed this button and it took so much. So it wouldn't go in, helping it in. Okay, there we go. Now I let go. Notice. No more clicky. Right? No more click. So either I'm breaking or not. No more click. So the click should open it so that it's stuck out. So if I can get this click to come out, maybe it'll go. Give it a shot. Get the old try now. We'll test. Oh no. Goes. Restart. 3-second delay I put in. Bada bing. So now what happens when that limit, let me override. These people are going to kill me. So we're in, override. Although I can't override because, is that limit, why are we, something's happening here. Okay, I end the test and I override. I put that little limit in. Now if you look at, I'm gonna bump the limit. I should be able to click that. It's just bending, right? So now at some point keep doing this. I bet you it'll just work. So the other thing that happens is the relay only energizes for a second. So that limit kind of really doesn't need to break. So we do another test. I think that button's still in, so I think it's going to go. We'll wait for the test. It didn't go. So maybe the button's in. You get, it's one or the other, the in or the out. And the end of the test, well, it's going to go back. I need to get a longer tool here. 1, 2, 3. Switch it back. See, like that button ain't even right in there. I can pop it out somehow. All right, so I tapped it in and was able to get the button to release. It's just sticking. So if I am right, position me in. We're gonna test. And now that it's snapped up, I think it's probably gonna go. 3 seconds. Yes. Okay. Just like to confirm it. So now, when I end the test, and I override, you're going to find that button. I just almost took my face off with that linear actuator. You're going to find that button sometimes releases. And if it doesn't click when I go down, it's still in. So, all right, so just to conclude, definitely that limit. So I set it. I'm going to set it before I leave, and hopefully it can operate. What I actually did was, I'll use you here. We're going to tap. And it releases. It may go. So that gives you one transfer. And if hopefully we come back, so they get one transfer to emergency, and just to go over that again, see if we can find it. I think it's in here. It's the S. I'm going to replace the whole. What's it go? S2, 3, 4, 5. So 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to do the 6, 7, 8, 9 limit switch stack. Scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Wow. Source 1 power failed after time delay. Oh, we'll go that way. Switch is in neutral position, so this is the schematic for where we're choosing. So we go through the S5 relay. So the black wire, you have a white, a black, and a red. Black is the common, so we know that works. All the really main control is done on the controls, and you have the red control, which goes closest to emergency, so drives to neutral. All the stuff going to emergency. The white is all the stuff going back. So all these limits, they make a they contribute, but the main thing is if I'm transferring off of this initially to neutral, the S5, but then it opens up and sticks here and breaks it and stops me in neutral, and it's S8's responsibility so the K2 gets us to neutral. We got to be closed on our auto manual disconnect switch. K2 gets us to neutral. It's this coil that needs to operate, and the coil will drive that actuator down or up. So K2 closes, we come up, we go through this limit switch, we get the red wire, the common wire already worked, it gets us to neutral. K3 closes, continues us, and so we're energizing the red in both scenarios. So red gets us to neutral, stops, breaks, and then through the S5, then the S8 gets us to emergency. That's what's sticking. So when it's ready to go, it's stuck in the normally open position. K3 closes, nothing happens. So that's exactly what it is. It's a little confusing. The Kohler industrial class really helped with the time troubleshooting, and kind of just made me go right to the schematic and You look to see, you know, where, you know, you follow the lines and look to see what can cause that specific scenario. And usually it's only a couple things, a couple limit switches or whatever. If it works, if the switch works going to neutral, you can prove a lot of the other things work. You know, if it can get to neutral, if it can transfer emergency back to neutral, no problems. You can look, well, and see what needed to be operational for that to occur, and it helps you isolate, you know, and it brought me right to this section right here. And that's about it.